Guyana, join me on the Lall Show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:20 p.m. and a rebroadcast at 11 a.m. The Lall Show only on Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 and 99.5 FM.
Time check for you, 19 hours 20. It's time to rumble. It is time for us to have a frank discussion as it relates to our nation's wealth, and we're happy that you can join us this evening on frequencies 99.1 and 99.5 FM. It's Friday. As customary, drinks is always on the boss on Friday for myself and Raj and Sharon and everyone else that is around. So before we get into our presentation, we just like to make sure that the boss is comfortable. Sir, you okay? You're all set for tonight. Wednesday was a lovely program. We can't stop talking about it. How are you before we get into the program?
I'm pretty much okay. Good.
All right.
By the grace of God Almighty.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
All right, so you're ready for
Very
tonight?
good. Yeah, man.
All right, let's get going. Remember, you can call us this evening at 226-7453, 226-7454, 622-2222, and 624-6456. Don't have much credit. We'll return your call. Just call and cut off.
You don't have credit, what you do?
You call us and cut off.
And we'll
We'll stand the expense.
Oh boy, I love that guy. The guy said, Mr. Lall, my credit is running out. Wow. In an oil producing country, eh?
Yep.
This country that is full with so much of gold, diamond, bauxite, manganese,
Everything.
timber, man, you name it, we have a lot,
Yep.
And look what 95% of the people in this country can't afford credit in their phone. Joshua, I don't know sometimes, I don't know if I'm thinking too fast or thinking too hard, But where I'm heading, I wish the leaders, can see my vision.
Yep.
And understand what has to be done to really move this country from a third world to a first world country. Listening to a part of President Ali's speech at the oil conference this afternoon, I had to cut it off. It's so, man, like the thing turned me off, man. It's like, there isn't a word to describe this speech. Who write these speech, man? I don't know. I really don't know. It's sad though. It's very sad where Guyana is going with these, I don't know how to describe these leaders, but it is what it is, Joshua.
So true.
Like you said, it's Friday, and let me begin this program because I think the listeners, from Guyana and around the world will really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Did I say namaste to all you beautiful people? No, I didn't. So I want to say a very special namaste to one and all. And thank you guys for listening. Like Josh said, it's Friday. I didn't even realize it's Friday, Josh. So let's get kicking. Joshua,
Yes.
two things define an individual, a person. Your patience when you had nothing and your attitude when you have everything. You hear what I said there? Two things define the human. Their patience when they had nothing and their attitude when they have everything. Guys, our Vice President Jagdev returned from India last week. Very quietly, Joshua. 90% of this country didn't even know when he left or what he left to go to India for. You know what he did, why he left?
No.
All right. Before he left, Joshua, the government had put out a statement saying that Jagde will lead a technical team to that country for oil and gas discussion and trade deals. The statement also said he will also negotiate the oil price with India to buy our share of the oil, among other things. When he came back, he didn't even have the decency or use the word courtesy to hold a press conference with all the media to inform the country about that trip as to what was discussed or what he achieved for Guyana during his visit, Josh. Guess what he did, Joshua? Instead of holding a press conference, he went and sit down for 63 minutes with Guyana's biggest clown, the critic, to cuss and abuse out Lall, and said not a single word about his trip to India. Uncle and auntie is out my mouth. So, cousin, out of that 1 hour, 3 minutes, listen this carefully, 48 minutes was about Lall. I will play him piece by piece for you guys to hear how he called me a madman because I am calling for our fair share of our wealth in this country. Something which he himself, the now president and their parties, while in opposition, promised to get out of that lopsided Exxon contract. Hear that? Guys, I must tell you, these programs and the TikToks I am doing is exposing them so much that it is getting under their skin. And the more I expose their forked tongues, you know, the two faces, them getting more and more angry as the days go by. But let me be very blunt tonight. Jagdeo's approval or disapproval of what I do or what I say is not going to keep me back from my purpose in life. You hear what I said there, Joshua? Sorry, sir. You don't have that power. That power only rests with my Creator, our Creator. Yes. These guys, when you listen to them and see how they are selling out all of us, they are more angry than us. They are more angry than we, the Guyanese people, who getting shafted every day. Yes, Josh. We can't ask them anything or say anything about what's happening with our wealth in this country. They are more offended, brother. Yes. They are more offended than offended itself. This nation is in the dark on everything. And instead they address the real issues. We sitting with, he is going around, sitting down with a joker to cuss Lall. That is what he got time to do. You will hear, guys, from the minute the program starts, Joshua, only Lall they were talking about. I swear to my Creator, I did not listen to him. I just asked my staff to listen and cut out what they feel I should respond to. Cousin, I will play him so we all can listen. So you can be the judge whether he is a madman or I am a madman? Who is really misleading the nation or who going crazy? I want you to listen carefully how he is slowly picking and choosing his words to respond to questions. Questions, I believe, Joshua, were handed to that clown for him to ask. Could you play the first tape?
Yes.
You know? And you guys will decide what is facts from fiction, what is truth, and what is lies. Play that for me, please.
A lot of Guyanese citizens are confused as a result of the misinformation being spewed by the Starbrook News. Kaieteur News takes the lead on that.
Yeah.
Obviously, after a number of years, it is becoming evident that Mr. Lall has an agenda. How can government, in the best interests of educating the populace, counter these kind of issues and bring clarity to the citizenry?
So, transparency is an important issue, and I think that any government should ensure that the organizations that promote transparency, and that could include, when I say organizations, I mean the opposition, members of the media, the NGOs, etc., that they're healthy and you have a robust intervention on their part to ensure that government remains vigilant and that they follow the rules. So a healthy society will have these bodies. But in Guyana's case, what we have is a series of organizations and media houses that are not interested in transparency, although they profess themselves to be very much interested in transparency and that they're the champions of transparency. I will not put the Starbrook News in the same category as Kaieteur News. Starbrook News tends to be more reasoned, and even when occasionally we disagree with them, they on articles, etc. I don't see it as a campaign of misinformation, and often their articles are based on what people say to them, which could be misleading, but it's our job to respond and correct that. They don't fabricate the stories the same way like Kaieteur News would do. Kaieteur News has been built on sensationalism and fabrication. You can sensationalize the news, and that's fine, because people have to sell newspapers, you have to make money. But when you start fabricating, making up the news, misleading people, then there is, no matter how much a government tries to address your concerns, and we've gone overboard in trying to address the real issues that sometimes the Kaieteur News will bring to our attention. But they're not interested in answers. They're more interested in making up stories. And so we see a big pattern of this. And the last few weeks have been an example of how this has manifested itself in the country. It's very hard for a government to address a madman sometimes. You know, somebody who, like the Kaieteur News publisher, he's so ignorant of many of the technical issues. But the sad thing is that he's not aware that he's ignorant, that he doesn't know. And the worst thing in this world is when a person believes that he knows what he's talking about, but he has no clue. For the whole country, it becomes like a joke, but for him and a few people who believe in conspiracy theories, this works for them. That it's very hard to address that sort of thing.
Oh, Joshua. We make up stories, uncle, auntie. Is why y'all listening to this man. Is why 50, 60, 70,000 people listen to Glenn Lall TikToks on a daily basis. Is why this whole country listening to Glenn Lall program, man. I hear the vice president say this make up story. The Kaieteur news, this fabricate story. And are you still listening to this radio station? Are you please go and turn to the radio stations that he buy out the people them to promote them kind of lawlessness and nonsense he talking there. Are you going to listen to them thing there? Listen how to cost down PPP and cost out PNC. That's what those stations and them other media houses does do. Let me tell you, he just bring in the Stabrook News. It's not Stabrook News you want to talk about it, you know. They're just forcing the Stabrook News into the question for make it look like what is Glenn Lall and Kaieteur News. You hear Jagdev didn't call my name? You heard him cause accusing me of being a madman. And the media is making up stories. And how it's very difficult for a government to deal with a madman. Because from the time the vice president opened his mouth, he talked about how important transparency is. You heard him there for yourselves, guys. Transparency. And how Kaieteur News, misleading. Yes, misleading information on, we are misleading. We are on, I should say we are on a misleading campaign pretending to be champions of transparency and how government go about with people's business. The man said how we just sensationalize and make up stories for rile up the nation against the oil people. You hear that, Joshua?
Yes.
You hear that? You guys believe what you heard there just now? From the ex-president of this country, now the vice president in charge of the oil sector? This man got any shame? He got the gall and the belly for talk about transparency and misleading this whole nation every day with their silence. You believe this? And whenever they do talk, Josh, you can't trust a word that comes out their mouth. If I am misleading or the newspaper is misleading, uncle, auntie, is how come I ain't getting no lawsuits? Or why they're not putting out a statement in their own media houses to rebut what the Kaieteur News or Glenn Lall is saying on these programs. A couple quick questions for you guys. Anyone, you know how much we're paying on interest alone for that 40 billion Exxon said to spend out there to date? Isn't that a legitimate question? Every person in this country should know the answer to. Guys, after all, is we oil. You guys remember the president himself promised a Bobishan how he got all the answers for Glenn Lall? But on to now. How many times did I ask that question on this program and on the radio? Did we ever get an answer? Is that transparency he talked about? Or was that misleading information? I don't know. I could tell you this. A 10% interest rate on that 40 billion US dollar cause, Guyana is paying 4 billion US a year coming out from our oil for interest alone. And how much Guyana getting a year, Joshua, you know? Just over $1 billion, Joshua. Why is that question not being answered? Is this transparency, Mr. Jagdeo? Or is this ducking and hiding? Cousin, Jagdeo did an audit on the 960 million ExxonMobil said has spent searching for oil. That audit completed. But guess what? He ducking and hiding it from the Guyanese people. Is that transparency, Mr. Jagdeo? Let me ask you guys. Anybody ever see or hear anything? What the audit uncovered during the investigation? Jagdeo hadn't said a word. But guess what, guys? To this day, we don't know how much Exxon can we on that one bill alone. And on top of that, the country had to fork out US dollars, a big chunk, to pay for the audit too. Why is Jagdeo hiding the findings of that audit that we pay for, Josh? Is this transparency? I'm just asking. 6 times I have asked him for the gold contracts to be released so that the people of this country can see the size of shaft they're getting from those foreigners in our gold and diamond fields. He pushed me around and the media like if he playing bumper ball, not releasing them. Is Heidi hiding it from us? Ask yourselves why. Is he getting something personally out of these deals? I am just asking. Is asking for these things misinformation or sensationalism? You be the judge, guys. Ask Jagdeo and the press and President Ali to respond to the thousands of questions I have been asking on these programs. Ask them. As a matter of fact, when last I hear anything out of their mouths on this US $1 trillion oil sector, other than we have said enough, we're not renegotiating it? Is that transparency, cousin? I don't know where this country is heading with these types of leaders. But I will tell you guys one thing for sure. Guyana faces the greatest danger it has ever faced in the history of this country. When Guyana's vice president can swing around everything that they are not doing to protect and safeguard this country, and then blame Lall and the media for just asking simple questions or for exposing their underwear, then you people are in the greatest of danger. That's all I can say. To say Kaieteur News and Stabrook News are misleading the nation and calling me a madman. Let me repeat. what a wise man once said. The most beautiful thing in God's creation is an educated person. Not an educated fool. A smart person fights with passion. A fool becomes his own slave. Anyone who makes you angry will become your master. Well, it looked like I have become his master because everything I say and do gets him angry, and very angry too. Josh?
Yes, sir.
Could you play a second piece of the tape? Thank you.
They want the gas to energy project. Not they want the documents. So I recall in our history, I just confirmed from Ashley because I was out. I said to Donna Ramatar, I said, don't give these people anything. They would kill the project at the end. They had great goodwill and Ashley and stuff. They met with them several times in the cabinet here with a team from the opposition. Gave stacks over 3,000 pages of documents on their Milas Fall, from feasibility study to hydrology studies to environmental studies, design, costs, everything, contracts. They didn't use it to support the project. They saw it. I doubt any of them read the documents because they don't read the documents. And then they killed it. So they succeeded in that because they knew if a miler had taken off by 2017, we would have had cheaper power. It would have been a kudos for the PPP. They're worried that this gas to energy project would result in electricity prices being cut by 50% by 2024, 2025. And we'd have enough cooking gas to export cheap cooking gas. That's a big political impact. It meant we fulfilled the promise we made to people, cutting cost of living, cutting their electricity bill, reliable power. They want to kill it. It's the same thing. They don't want documents to support or to be edified, to learn, to be educated. They don't want to kill it. They want to kill it. So we're not falling into any stupid trap again. With these people, they're negative about everything. But you can only expect this from people who never had any plan for anything. They could have built the pipeline. They could have identified the site. They could have done a number of things. Could have built.
Joshua, the man you just listened to is an international gaff man and a con man. You know, if you really doesn't know him, you hear me, you fall for everything this man tell you. Guys, he said what he said. He told Ramatar, don't give. You see? So he was in control. But I still went and gave the documents. Because Jagdewan to this day can't export rice and sugar. What his whole generation born and grew in. But now he gonna export what? Gas? He gonna export gas. Is this guy for real? The Amelia Falls project he talked about, let me add some color and context to that. Since 2007, when he was president, he wanted to shove it down my throat at a cost 5 times the world price. And when Lall exposed that, them run and left it. When that project started, Joshua, Jagdev first tell the nation it was going to cost 350 million US. Then suddenly it moved to 450 million US. Within weeks, It jumped to 600 million. Then to 850 million US within a few months. All this information is in black and white. You guys just have to Google Kaieteur News. It's there. I never forget going to New York one morning, and the vice president of the same company that was supposed to build the hydrofalls was in the line. Yes, was in the line at Trinidad when we were changing planes. We chat a little. I tell him I'm a Guyanese living in Canada, and I saw you guys. Didn't I say, isn't this your photograph in the newspaper? I had the Kaieteur News in my hand, and his face was on the story. And he said, yes. I said, man, I really love that project you guys putting down in Guyana. And we began to chat. Joshua, the man tell me, you know, if you guys don't hurry up, you know, it's going to go past 1.2 billion right there and then, right? And then he moved on, and I said, listen, we'll chat in the plane. When I move in the plane, and I go sit in the plane, when I look around in the first class, he wasn't there. So for a moment, I thought the man lose. You know, I thought he'd lose the flight. And something tell me go check at the back of the plane. I walked down the whole back and check, he wasn't there. But while going, I see somebody pulling a blanket over your head. Right? The head. So I walk back, and then I go back again. You know, it was that guy hiding from me. Yes. Yeah, he was hiding from me in the plane. Big billionaire coming to do a project, flying economy. By now, guys, by now, 1.2 billion US and more would have been hanging around my neck like a hangman's noose had that project gone through then. The cost per megawatt around the world for projects like these was less than $1 million, brother, at the time. But Jack Day was telling us we are going to pay 5 times that price. Since back then, those days, he started to get angry with Lall because I exposing them raw rank. Yes. They didn't get through with that project 16 years ago. Now they're trying to bring it back. President Ali just announced again they're bringing back the project. This time cheaper. This time the price themselves went down to 700 million. For the same 165 megawatt. You guys know of anything in this world that the price has dropped? Huh? This is the same Jack Dale. The same game Jack Dale has been playing all along. It's control. They want to be in control of all the money-making business in this land, uncle. Brasington, they say, is a Chinese company coming to build, own, and operate it. And how Guyana got no risk. And while he was speaking at the conference, I did that program already. The screen behind him was exposing all the dangers Guyana faces with that project. As a matter of fact, 7 out of the 10 most dangerous risks on that project would have fallen Guyana. Man, the thing include earthquake or a hurricane. If an earthquake or hurricane disappear with the project, we the poor people of this country had to find money for pay the private people all the money they said they spent on the project. Ever hear anything like that, Joshua? Huh? You see the binding them chap binding you wrong with? Yep. Not they're binding a country too. You know when you expose that, it gets them angry. That's like a man buying a car you know, for carry you picnic to school. And if an earthquake happen while he driving the car coming for you child, a road bust when the car disappear, you family got pay for your car. Oh boy. Well, I want to tell them, if any hurricane or any earthquake should take the hydro, it must happen when them they wrong it. And I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's too much they're doing to this country, cousin. Come on. Come on. Where and when will this end? When you guys will stop this wholesale criminality with every big money project in this country? Playing with the poor people's minds in this country, promising them cheap electricity. Come on, man. Are you going to stop this thing? When this thing is going to stop, Joshua? When is enough? Enough for these guys. I remember Jagdeo promised to give out 1 laptop per family. You guys remember it? It was a beautiful gesture. I was happy with it. Until I find out the real crookery behind it. I put my reporter to ask the minister in parliament the price for one of them. And when she told him 1,500 US, I nearly dropped dead. When that story was reported, uncle, when it hit the front page, Kaieteur News, they run out and say, no, she made a mistake. It's 350 US we paying for each laptop. When I check around the world on the prices for laptops at the time, cousin, Peru was giving all their citizens laptop at $50 US each. India was giving out millions of laptops to their citizens in India at a cost of $35 US each. Guyana Jagdeo laptop was costing we 350 US each. And when Lall reported that, they put out a statement saying Lall don't want poor people to get laptop. He even sent the state media to interview people in the streets to make Lall and the Kaieteur News look bad. How we don't want them children to have laptops. Only my children must have because I am rich. Guys, everything is in black and white what I'm saying here. You just got to Google it in Kaieteur News. All those stories are glaring there. Scampishness, crookishness, skullduggery can never come out these people's brains. That's all they think about. And that's all they live for. I don't even want to go to President Ali background when he was Minister of Housing. Man, he used to run the ministry accounts department, the money department with lead pencil. Google that story, you can see it. When they lose the election, them own staff in there catch them and call me, come quick to see. They're packing up all the records in the vehicle for God born. That same Leonard Gildari, what on one of them outpiece now, was the one who shot down there and chased down the vehicle. Man, Gildari said it was like a police and thief chase around the city and on the East Bank. In and out the streets. Fly past the Demerara Harbour Bridge turn into Parkview Hotel, and turn out back. Heading back to Georgetown. Gildari behind them. Then they shot over the Demerara Harbor Bridge with all the documents. Gildari said he didn't want to go over the river, so he come back to the office. Oh, beautiful Guyana this is, man. Jagdeo went on and on about that hydroseed project and say how he give the PNC 3,000 pages of documents and how they turn around and use it to kill the project. He know very well it's not the PNC kill the project. It's the information that me and my team expose that kill the project. But like he shamed to call Glenn Lall name or say Glenn Lall kill it. Oh, Mr. Transparency himself now saying, don't give nobody no document. We can kill the project. You sure it's kill the project or kill somebody's pocket? I'm just asking. You know, I like ask question, uncle. Kill project is killing people's pocket. Guyana don't start spending the oil money on what is now the biggest project ever in Guyana. And you heard him just now. He's not releasing any documents. They don't want to fall in that trap again for anybody kill the project. Is killing the kickbacks or killing somebody's pockets. Oh boy, I swear to God, they better stay in there for life. And the coalition remain the same at the same place. And we don't ever get a complete change in this land away from the PPP, PNC, and the AFC, because a lot of people will spend their remaining lives behind bars. They think they can continue doing as they like for as long as they like, forgetting that with today's technology, you can't hide nothing, Mr. Jagdeo. It's going to come to light. Everything you guys did came to light. Uncle and auntie, brothers and sisters, y'all really understand what Jagdeo really said there just now? The man admit that when they released the Amelia documents, that was when the truth really started coming out. So now, this time around, he don't say, don't give them nothing. And that is what he calling transparency. Yes, he coming clean to the nation. Man, this guy is just start so much mix-up story, one after the other. I want to believe he forget what happened with the Amelia project. After all, guys, this is the vice president. He don't tell lies. It's only Glenn Lall that tell lies. The World Bank, the IMF, the IDB, Commonwealth, and all them other international experts that tell lies. Not we, Vice President. He's an honest. Yes, he's an honest, brilliant, and decent citizen. Let's continue, man. Let's continue. He and President Ali told all Guyana when they were in opposition how they will review and renegotiate that exam contract. Today, them singing a different tune. Them singing the opposite to that and trying to pull wool over we eyes, talking about changing contracts and more royalties from the new oil blocks with nothing inside. That's what they're talking about now. These people can be trusted with your future? I'm just asking. Hoping, skipping and jumping around the place, trying to defend the things they do. He ain't realize he raising an ant's nest and put his foot in his mouth when he trying to defend things like the Marriott Hotel, the Berbice Bridge, and so on. Listen to him yourself. Listen. Play that little piece.
Lall once started a campaign against the Marriott. Now the Marriott is one of the most successful hotels. A campaign was started. In most cases, anything, it seems that Lall is anti-development. So it creates a frustration in the society that people are trying to figure a way out. A lot of times, it's clear as day what the government has done as it relates to minimizing the effects of the global inflation on our society. But because of these cries, because of the fact that government, as a matter of fact, is the biggest advertiser in Kaieteur News, the biggest funder of Kaieteur News, one has to ask, when will it stop? Because it creates frustration. It might be even creating depression for
it
people.
will never stop. This guy has a mental problem, serious mental problem. And he believes he is a messiah, but he lives in a cesspool. So the same issues you mentioned, he destroyed the livelihoods of many of the people in Region 10 who relied on that company to buy wood for them, the small forestry operators there. He then had a big beef with Roussel. That Roussel was sitting on a gold mine. They had all these concessions from the government, and that they will never walk away from the country. The people walked away from the country. We lost nearly 900 jobs in the Kokwani, Aichuni area, the Linden Corridor again. I was on his show. I said to him, what's your problem with giving concessions to companies that operate in these areas? If you think it's a gold mine, we will give you every bit of concession that Roussel got and more if you ask for, more. You create 900 jobs there and we'll give you everything you want. Up to today, he hasn't responded to that. He has not, but that was a gold mine. Destroyed the livelihoods of people in that area. You mentioned about the things he was opposed to. He was opposed to the Berbice Bridge. He was opposed to the convention center. He was opposed to the stadium. The Marriott, he said, was owned by Jagdeo and that it will be a white elephant. Can you imagine the duplicity of this guy when a couple months ago he said the government wants to sell out a cash cow, the Marriott he's talking about. The same Marriott that a few years back he was saying was going to be a white elephant. So because nobody holds him to account, nobody holds the newspapers to account.
Let's deal with the Marriott first. There was an ad in the newspaper about 4 or 5 weeks now. They're going to sell it. Not Glenn saying that. Government put out an ad. We'll deal with that just now. He said, I am a messiah. I'm so happy that you recognize the role I play in this country. Because a messiah is a teacher, an educator. And he's upset that I'm educating you people as to the tricks and games they're playing with you, the Guyanese people, and your monies. He should tell us who he, Ashley Singh and Winston Brasington installed secretly through the Republic Bank Trinidad into the Marriott Hotel, collecting the fat cash for the 2 cents they put in. That's what he should tell us. When is the Guyanese tax dollars fund the hag, put the hag of the money to build a Marriott? Guys, let me remind you, when that hotel opened, built by Jagdeo, it was not even making money to pay the light bills. That's honest truth. Google it. Much less make a profit. But guess what? The secret investors they put in through the bank had to be paid every month. You know where the money was coming from to pay them, uncle? The Treasury, our Bank of Guyana. And that's how they designed it, to rape me and you and this entire nation. Whether the project was making money or not, they were supposed to be collecting a fat check. And they called Ashley Singh to invest $1,000 in the hotel when they said they're looking for investors for building new hotel. I even texted Ramatar at the time, president, and tell him to ensure my name is there with just $1,000. You don't want to hear what Ashley Singh tell me. All I wanted to do, uncle and auntie, was to get a foot into the deal, to see the books and to see how they were designing it and to know who were the other players inside. But they never respond to me. And Ashley Singh said, Glenn Lall, you know about newspaper. What you want to come into hotel business for? We're looking for people who got hotel knowledge so that them can help to manage and run the hotel to make money. Today they got anybody? Today they got the Marriott people running the hotel. But they didn't want Glenn Lall in there to see anything. I told you guys, the PNC go in and make contact with the bank, Republic Bank Trinidad, to sit down with the investors, the private people. But the bank told them, no, we don't give out private information. That's how the PNC told them we can't pay your clients and took over the loan. Yes, and kicked them out because it was a burden on the state, on the Ministry of Finance to pay them every month. Jagdeo didn't tell the nation that the hotel cost over 80 million US and still incomplete. Where a hotel of that size could have been built for less than 25 million. Every Guyanese should thank God Almighty that oil fine in this country. And the hotel began to make little money now. Now they want to put it up for sale. You see all these things you guys don't know, but I have them at my fingertips. Is whose hands they want to throw it in now? Y'all better check and see if it don't sell out quietly. And see who hands it gone in. I just asking for y'all to check because it's up for sale. This is the love these guys have for y'all pockets. And transparency them just practice. This is the love and this is transparency that's practice. Ducking every piece of information you ask for. You know why he's so upset and angry with Glenn Lall? Because I am the only one who's exposing their devious and conniving ways. The Burmese Bridge, no different from the Marriott Hotel. Guyana put the bulk of the money, me and you money, Me and you money. And Jagdev installed private people to reap the hag of the profits. Jagdev's best friend, Ramroop, was the single largest private shareholder in the bridge. Don't know if he still is. I think he still is. That's how Jagdev structured the deal. The private people money guarantee and must be paid first. Even if they got to take the old people pension package. Yes. Even if they got to shorten the salaries of the nation. Those guys got to get a monthly payment. Yes, it still remains the same way unto this day. These are the things they don't want me to talk. Squeeze the heck out of the Berbice people. Force them to use that bridge. Force them to pay $2,000 plus to cross with a car. The highest toll being paid on any bridge across this world, anywhere. I've been to San Francisco once, spent 7 days. And I used to cross a bridge called the San Mateo Bridge. 8.25 miles long. Uncle, $4 I pay every day for drive over and drive back. Let me give you a little more. Just like the Marriott Hotel, not making money to pay the light bill. The first few years, the Berbice Bridge was not making enough money to pay everybody. You know where the money was coming from to pay the private owners or the private investors? We pockets. Yes, through the treasury. And Jagdev calling that love for Guyanese people. Giving them Berbice Bridge. It's love for the people, yes. But more love for his friends. Oh. Sweet snitching private people who put in a few dollars and both entities working to pay them. You guys remember, man. He stopped the speedboats from carrying school children across the Berbice River, forcing them to use the Berbice Bridge. He stopped the ferry from fetching vehicles so that he friends can make money. Young people don't know, and some of y'all older folks already forget these things. This is why he can sit down with a madman to call me a madman. You guys should ask Jagdev to make public how much money the secret players in the Marriott Hotel already collected. He should also release how much the private owners already collected out of the Berbice Bridge. Isn't that transparency, Mr. Jagdev? Or am I still a madman to ask those questions? I am a madman to expose how, as soon as he go in office, he snatch away GPC from Guyana that was making money and hand it over to his best friend Ramroop for next to nothing. Turn back, uncle, and was paying him hundreds of millions in rent to store the Ministry of Health drugs. The amount of money must have already paid to rent back the building is more than what you get for the whole property and business altogether. That is what you should tell you, man. I am a madman to expose. He sell out the whole Sonata complex, worth over 40 million US, to the same best friend for next to nothing. I'm a madman to expose his best friend was going to grab up the whole border cricket ground for next to nothing. Hadn't that letter leaked to me that I exposed in the Kaieteur news, that would have gone too in the hands of his friend. I'm a madman when I expose to the nation how he took prime ocean view property at Ogle for himself and his friends' uncle at $114 per square foot. You hear me? Ocean view property where he built a mansion. He and his friends then pay $114 square foot. While the ordinary Guyanese, the brown, black, and purple people of this country had to pay $300 plus for them cane field land, them swamp lands to build them houses. Yeah, man. Lall is starting a campaign to stop investments and developments. Investments for only private people and personal friends to make money, uncle. Yes. Just name one development this country has seen for the last 30 years that any one of y'all can be proud of. There isn't a single one. Ask Barra Jagdeo to answer that question. And the clown he sit down with. Name one. You know, that same clown was hungry. He himself said publicly on his program how Lall is such a nice man. He couldn't even buy coffee in the morning. He had to come to work early at the Kaieteur News to drink a cup of tea and use Wi-Fi. That's how bad he was. Today, guess what, cousin? That same clown eating well. Jagdeo and he should tell all of us how many $1 million contracts he don't get from the government. If y'all don't know, critic, the man is a contractor now and a road builder overnight. Y'all ever hear about that? Yeah. A man who couldn't buy a cup of coffee yesterday, overnight is a big contractor in Guyana. God, come quick, please. Come quick and help this nation from these devils we have to put up with. Please. He said Lall has a mental problem. And a serious one too. Is who really mental, cause? Me or them? He said me destroy the livelihood of the people in Region 10 who used to cut and sell timber. Then he went on to Rusal, the bauxite company, and said how the Rusal people pack up and go away. They should have packed up. All of them should pack up and get out because we're not getting nothing. The people in Linden were living without jobs and they're going to continue living without that pittance they used to get. While the billions going out of the country of our wealth and our resources. And I will say this clear. If foreigners can't give us our rightful share, get out. We have never starved in this land. Isle or no isle, goal or no goal, we have enough. And we are self-sufficient, Mr. Jagdeo. But you want to bring up these things to rile up. It's not going to work, Jagdeo. When you talk about Baishanlin, he was talking about the people selling wood. Yes. He is the one that installed Baishanlin secretly in this country, eating up the whole forest with the most expensive decorated wood Guyana has, our Wamara. Yes, our Wamara, the most beautiful wood. My office have it. That is what Baishanling shipping out by the boatloads and shiploads daily. What Guyana used to get from it? Absolutely nothing. But the little penny, they used to pay the region 10 people to cut it for them. This is the man that you put in control of your wealth, Barra Jagdeo. Talking about putting a couple people out of jobs while your country is being emptied. Emptied. Getting nothing out of it. It's the exact thing going on there with Oh My and all the gold companies in there. Giving our brother and sister one little security job. Fetching out the wealth of this country. And all of it silent. You guys see the trouble this country in with these empty-headed and corrupt leaders? Huh? You want to hear more, Josh? Huh? Bai Shenlin. I don't know if Mr. Su was involved in that deal. What I know, Joshua, Su is in Guyana at the Marriott Hotel every night, drinking, knocking glass. Yeah, man, drinking fine wine. By the way, Jack David say he looking for Su, and how he got Su?
Yes.
What happened? Mr. Jagdeo, Mr. Su come back and the Marriott. Is how come you don't know he there? Guys, like I said, I don't know if Su was involved in Bai Shenlin fiasco in this country. But you guys don't want to know how many gold fields and forest concessions was handed to Bai Shenlin on a silver platter in this country under Jagdeo presidency. You don't want to know. Man, Joshua, had Jagdeo them win the 2015 election, Guyana would have been renamed Bai Shenlin Guyana. The government of the day went so far to give Bai Shenlin over Joshua, a quarter of Guyana, brother. You hear me, Josh?
Yeah.
Over a quarter of Guyana. Yeah, man. That is what the PPP government under Jagdeo give Bai Shenlin. You didn't hear what I said there, man. A quarter of Guyana forest was placed in the lap of Bai Shenlin. You guys have the picture there? Put the picture up on the screen. Yes. The stories were carried in Kaieteur News many, many times. Is the PNC had to come in and take back a big portion of Guyana from Bai Shenlin. I chartered a helicopter. Cousin, Lall chartered a helicopter. Paid almost $2 million from my pocket. Man, you gotta see. Not a blade of grass you could see on the ground with how clean the Chinese was cleaning up the forest. It's online there. Put up the pictures, let them see it. The size of some of the lumbers, when I stand up alongside it, I look like a dwarf. Although I'm 5 feet 5 inches or 5 feet 6 inches. Thank David Granger, he come in and run them out and take way back some of them land. Even the mall they were building next to the Chinese embassy was on a hole under the PNC. If I come to town, I would see people in Georgetown would know the mall, how long it park up under the PNC. Jagdeo come back in, the mall near complete. You guys don't have a clue what a mall is going to do with the local business of this country. You talk about putting out jobs, putting 900 people out of jobs, Jagdeo. When they open up that business, they're going to put out the entire country out of business. We carried a story recently where all the embassies together, couldn't match the amount of containers the Chinese embassy alone was bringing into this country. You guys think it's personal things coming in? It's goods they're bringing in, not paying any duty, coming under the diplomatic bag. How can the Guyanese business people compete with them when they're not paying no duties? Guys, it's the exact thing they do throughout Africa. In Ghana at present, their business people not getting visa to go to China anymore. They got to buy from the Chinese, they got to buy the Chinese goods right there in Ghana from the Chinese to sell back to their people. PPP come back in office and the mall near finish. It's Ghana all over in Guyana, where every business owner will be refused a visa to China and will be forced to go to the same mall and place their order to buy directly from the mall. They will take over all the business. Everything they're grabbing up. When it's not your land and your wealth, is your business sector too. Bara Jagdeo telling me I'm a madman. Because if I am really to get down to the bottom of these things, it would take me a lifetime to tell you all the dirty, stinking and underhand deals that was going on in this country. And it started back again with Jagdeo at the helm. I don't know if Mr. Sue got anything to do with that though. The same Sue what Jagdeo said he can sue. Guys, all of you sleeping and watching how men dressing with suits, and I believe they just come from church, is nothing more than sellouts in this land y'all have for leaders. Most of them. And Bara Jagdeo is leading that gang. He promised to do investigation on the Kaieteur and Kanji oil blocks. What happened? Who owned it? Anyone you know? That is the mother of all sellouts, Uncle and Auntie. The oil blocks that worth billions of US dollars that could have sell in the open market and pay out all Guyana debts. Triple people's salaries. What them said I do? Give it away. Yes, they said I give it away free. So they want me and you to believe. Kaieteur News carry a story. When we asked the two owners whose name the oil blocks land in. You guys remember? One of them said, I drive in. Not nice, not hearing good. And the other one told the reporter, it's too long, I can't remember. You own an oil block in which you and 10 of your generations to come life set. And you can't hear good. And the other one can't remember. Cousin, when you expose these things, you are a mental case. You are a madman. I never mentioned this before. But you guys know the reason why Bara Jagdeo can't touch ExxonMobil or ask ExxonMobil anything? It's the same two oil blocks, Kaieteur and Kanji. Read through the lines. And let me ask Bara Jagdeo again. And I want all of you to ask him this simple question. Who are the beneficial owners of those 2 oil blocks? Who really get the billions from ExxonMobil and the other oil companies that buy over the 2 oil blocks? That should be a simple question. Who get the money? You guys can't ask that? Ask President Ali too, because he's the president. And they promised an investigation to find out who are the beneficial owners. Oh, cousin, I am trying to put my hand on a document for the longest while now. I was told when ExxonMobil gave back Guyana the Kaieteur and Kanji oil blocks, they had offered to buy it back from Guyana. Why Bara Jagdeo, Robert Prasad, and Ashni Singh and the PPP government didn't sell it to them so that the people of Guyana could have received the money? No. Them take it and put it in private hands so that them can sell it and make money for them and their families. You guys remember, man? When Robert Prasad was asked who the oil blocks went to, what he said? He don't know. He never meet or see the owners. He only signed the documents with the lawyers who representing the owners or signed behalf of the owners. And when he was asked who were the lawyers, he said he can't remember them. This whole country, every citizen should have been on the streets for what is happening in this land. Everybody should be on the streets for what's going on in this land. But y'all choose to stay home and stay quiet. And some of you just buy in to talks like that. This is Guyana, beautiful Guyana. You say it's independent and free? Yes. Free for one set of people. The 48 minutes he rant and rave about Lall and the Kaieteur news, I will play the whole tape after this program. So they can't accuse me of cutting and pasting anything and taking anything out of context. Let me end the program here by taking 2 or 3 telephone calls. After which, Uncle, the whole tape will be played of what you heard part of just now. I am throwing out a paid program just to play his full speech that he sit down with a clung after he came back from India. And I want you to listen carefully. I don't want this tit for tat go on. Joshua? Yes, I don't want this tit for tat to go on. There is much more at stake that I have to focus on. What pass, pass. What gone, gone. I think they're baiting me to get into a tit for tat, to sidetrack me from dealing with the main issues that's going on presently. They hired a whole team to come after me. But I will not be moved or sidetracked by the obstacles. And by now, all of you Guyanese people beginning to see the games and the tricks they have up their sleeves. Yes. So, let's not be distracted. Gold, gold, timber, timber, bauxite, bauxite, diamond, diamond, manganese. Now oil, oil, oil are all being depleted. All are being huffed out, even to when we are sleeping. The Chinese doing it in Ghana in the nights now. I told you guys, when the police and the army run them in the day, the Chinese sleeping. As soon as their backs turn, is into the mineral fields, the Chinese gone. We in trouble here, uncle. We in trouble here, auntie. We are in terrible trouble here, cause, and our leaders are mentally ill or mentally corrupt. Guys, always remember what that wise man once said. The most beautiful of all creations is a well-educated person. A smart person fights with passion, but a fool becomes his own slave. Anyone that can make you angry becomes your master. That's where I put Jagdev and President Ali. They are angry, very angry. So it's clear that Lall has become their master. I love it, Joshua. Bara Jagdev said, me can't change. You heard him, right? He said, me can't change. And you will hear him back. You will hear the full tape. He fully well know a million like he can't change Lall. Can't change Lall and my stance where corruption, incompetence, and wholesale thievery of the citizens of this country's wealth is concerned. Sorry to say this, Mr. Jagdev. Oh boy. Oh. The Creator made me that way. I wish I could have been one of your friends. Like how critic move away from me and turn your best friend. I would have probably get a whole aisle block. God bless both of you too. And God bless you guys, cause have a great weekend. Yeah, no, let me take 2-3 calls. Okay. Let me take 2-3 calls. You know, Jagdev's approval or disapproval of what I do and say is not going to keep me back from my purpose in life. Let me say that clear. Sorry, sir. You don't have that power. Remember I said when I begin this program, Josh, 2 things define a person. Their patience when they had nothing and their attitude when they have everything. Wow. Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Lall.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Thank you.
How are you?
Yes, great. Let's get going. We have some limited time. I have to play a whole tape.
Okay, I'd like you to stay on message. They're trying to distract you. Stay on base.
Thank you.
They're attacking the messenger because the message is powerful.
Exactly. I hear you.
The Bible says if God is for you, no man can be against you.
I just said that.
Light will always dispel darkness. And remember the mantra that the only thing it takes for evil to thrive is for good men to do nothing. And you're doing everything, my brother. The fact that they're attacking you, it means that you're effective. They're evil and you're light. Fear no man. God is with you. I'm praying for you and Jesus loves you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, friend.
God bless.
God bless. Thanks. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Brother Glenn.
Good evening.
Namaste.
Namaste.
You were speaking about the Barbies River Bridge, man. I know that there's a lot of private investors. And the bridge that was built there, at one point, they was out of funds and so on, and they take some funds from the NIS.
The NIS, right? The chunk of the money for build the bridge come from the NIS, man. That's why the Guyanese people, they're nearly bankrupt the whole NIS. And if I like the NIS bankrupt aren't now.
No, I want to know that all these private stakeholders that are getting their rightful dividend, is NIS getting their share of dividend?
That one,
just asking, man.
Yes, I like to ask questions too. That one, I don't know, but I should think so. I should think so. But for the first couple of years, the NIS didn't get anything, nothing. Only the private people. I know that one for sure.
Okay.
They design them that way, man. But it's not if them get, listen, you got to understand this thing. It's not if them get, it's how much them getting. You understand?
Yes.
Because let me tell you something. You can put in 20 million US to build a bridge, right? And Lall put in 1 million. Lall can get more interest from he 1 million than what you get in on your whole 20 million. That is the key part. You got to keep your eyes and brain open to. You get me?
Yes.
So
I follow you.
it's not the amount you put in, it's the amount you're getting back out of your returns. That is what is key. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right, go ahead.
Good night, Mr. Glenn. Good night, Mr. Glenn.
Yes, good night.
Yes. Everything that the man say with critic is sheer lie, right? And the truth with you talking, bringing the feelings. But listen to me right now, sir. Now I'm get a big protest with cost of living, break down the parliament door and the gate, and going and the police joining the citizen. So I want to know if this nation, if these people get a different thinking in the head, or them is junkies. Can't tell if you say them is morons or junkie they need in this country. And Mr. Jack Dio supposed to already been in jail since with Sue and before with Ramrook and all them things we gain away. We can take back these things. These things are going down just like that,
Thank you.
Mr. Jack Dio do more than PNC with all them years have been in there, and he have to pay the consequence.
Thank you,
And
brother.
this thing is not one side, but
Thank
he
you.
do more than these people. Yeah, and he have to face the consequences. Everything we talking about, we telling about you is this and you is that. Yeah, the man are talking nothing for benefit this nation. And I want to know them banners take them money and supporting, remember, B-Man organization has got to get enough money. Right? So, I want Guyana wake up and go and check in Suriname going on there.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's get going.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. You're live on the air.
Good evening to you. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
Yeah, I just called. My contribution tonight is very short.
Go ahead.
Mr. Lall, those things that you have revealed tonight, I am telling you, you have to get an award for it. But nevertheless, they like to say that you're mad and you're crazy. Freddie Kissoon and all of them. But I want to say this on the national radio. The Bible said that wisdom maketh the wise man mad. What it means is that when you
I know.
see the craziness
Yes.
as an intelligent person that is going on around you, it makes you crazy.
Yes. It's getting
When
to
they
them.
mad, you refer to that. Because I'm telling you something, you're the only sane person.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
understand? You could have chucked in the towel and gone and get oil blocks and get all the riches for yourself.
I could have
Why
been
you
one.
doing it?
I could have been one of the biggest contractor in Guyana.
You could have been that. It clearly shows that you're different. You cut from a different cloth.
Exactly.
Anyhow, Mr. Lall, you keep up the good
Thank you.
work. And may the Creator be with you always. And one day, you will get your reward.
Thank you so much, man. I believe that
you'll
too.
get the reward.
I believe too.
All right? I'm
Namaste.
telling you that. I know that one day you'll get your reward. Truth
Namaste.
will never fail. Truth never fails. All right, you take
Thank
care,
you,
Chief.
brother. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Joshua,
Yes, sir.
50,000 plus dead. 100,000 homes and apartment buildings collapse in 45 seconds in Turkey and Syria.
Wow.
There's an unknown figure as to how much persons still buried under the rubble. Yet to be found, brother. That is a major lesson for all mankind. 45 seconds. Yes, 45 seconds, uncle. Turn home owners to homeless. 45 seconds turn kids with parents into orphans. 45 seconds turned parents with kids, childrenless. 45-second made husbands and wives into widows. 45 seconds turned people who own businesses to jobless. Isn't that a lesson for mankind? Those people were safe in their homes. They were healthy, had food, and in one moment, all gone. Auntie and uncle, you think when they were holding their children's hand to run out, those who ran out, you think they had time to worry about money, about wealth?
Say that again.
They were thinking about their lives, how to save it, how to stay alive, how to protect it. That's a beautiful lesson. You think they knew it would have been their last night? Yes, those who died. They hadn't a clue what was coming. They didn't know they would be homeless the next day, or their loved ones would have died. Joshua, that's a beautiful lesson for all of us to learn from. That today we are here. This moment we are here. Tomorrow we are no more. Can somebody send this message to President Ali, Vice President Jagdeo, and the rest of the politicians of this country? I'm sending some help, and a few people call me to chip in. I hear the government give 50,000 to Syria and 50,000 US to Turkey. And if the UN didn't call on countries to help, I don't know if President Ali would have sent anything. What a world we live in. What a Guyana we live in. With that, I say namaste. You want to take, let's take two more calls. Take the calls. We'll take 2-3 calls.
Caller, thank you for holding. Go ahead.
Good night, Mr. Lall.
Good night.
Isn't how critics get this money to do this contract? Isn't this money laundering going on with these contractors? How come when your family send $100 from America, Western Union asks you a bundle of question, MoneyGram asks you a bundle of question, and then asking these people them who got this big money them floating around and got nothing, and even had a proper bicycle car, you say use a car, come drink coffee by you and Wi-Fi. How you get this money? This is money laundering going on with these contracts them. And another thing, how come the Chinese get permission to import Coca-Cola when the guy is the only sole holder of the Coca-Cola franchise? Chinese importing Coca-Cola in some small glass bottles. You can go and check them out in them Chinese supermarket, and they're supposed to be right because the guy paying tax, and they're supposed to have nobody else selling Coca-Cola other than the guy. Thank you very much. This is me problem for the night.
Thank you.
All right, the Coca-Cola issue first. Banks DIH will have to take that up with customs, because if they're the sole producer and distributor of Coca-Cola, if they have the patent, and not if they have the patent right for that, they can stop all that.
Correct.
That's for the sure. Maybe Banks DIH is not doing the homework or doing the right what they ought to be doing. On the other hand, of a man critic becoming a contractor, where are you finding the money from? Man, it's all kind of thing that's happening in this country. You just got to say, a contract just got to come in your hand, and you go to the Ministry of Finance, and they give you an advance to buy equipment and machinery to do the work. Hey, there's a lot of things going on in this country I don't know, brother. But I don't know. It's madness from top to bottom happening in this land, bro. They're running this country as if their personal bank book. Take that out, call.
Go ahead, caller. Good night.
Yeah, good night to you, Josh. Uncle Lall. Good night to everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, I just say what I have to say and what I feel and what I believe that is right.
Go ahead.
That, you know, the government of today, that they really need to do so much more for the people them. And we is not even a billion people. You know what I'm saying? They need, look what going on to our neighbors there right now. They're rebelling because the people them fed up. They can't take it no more. Not because they got good road and they got high-rise building, but what about the people them belly? They got the cheering them, punishing. That's why the people them get fed up and they rebelling. But with this government telling we here in Guyana, so for hold your belly and drink water and be calm, things gonna get better. All things gonna get better if you don't rebel. I respect the Europeans because when they want change, they go and rebel. And when they rebel, yeah, few lives gonna cause, but they can get the change. And I'm not saying that's what we need in Guyana, but
That's
people
what we
to
need.
start
That's
being
what we need in
focused.
Guyana.
No, if we protesting for righteousness and betterness, yes, this is what we need to do.
But nobody's showing up to protest.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lall.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
it's never supposed to get to that level. When I don't call you up, I listen to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I look forward to you, big man, and listen to you.
Thank
right
you.
now, I'm downstairs. I'm listening to you. I cut off from the live and go on WhatsApp and call you up to give my view. You know, if someone call any show, as listen to you, as listen to Mr. Critics, as listen to Sharon Duncan, as listen to everybody, because I want to be aware that what's going on in my surrounding, right? I would love to the politicians, them, the heads of government, they have a program like yourself and the other ones that have a panel that they could talk and people could call them up and interact with them and they get with people such as yourself and others. But they're not doing that, which they're supposed to do that as government, that you're dealing with the people.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, friend.
Thanks again for taking my call.
Good.
You guys
Hello, sir.
continue
Good
having
evening.
a blessed
Yeah,
Thank
good
you, too.
evening, Ben, and to the panel. Lovely program, man. I really enjoyed this presentation tonight.
Thank you.
You know, they can't keep a good man down. Wonderful program. But you know, this international conference we had there the other day, I was looking at
I'm going to do a program on it.
I was looking at the president and the feature address. I was seeing it on television. I want you to take a look at it. The ending part alone, when he finished the speech, the ExxonMobil people them were sitting in front, and one of them, they go and shake his hands. And Mr. Rockledge was right next to him, and the man turned around and winked off. I didn't know if you had a look at that clip. You could see something there going on.
My friend, they're in bed. They're in bed.
Man,
I don't know what they just do in bed, but I know that they're in bed. All right? I don't know what they do in bed.
When this man shake the president's hand and the president gone shaking rest people's hand, he turned around to Mr. Rockledge and winky eye. You see, we get we accomplish.
Yes, we get in there. Yeah. The message we send out there. Yeah, we capture them. We got them. They're stupid. They're gonna buy into it.
Yes. You see this thing, man. This clip. This piece of clip need to go around.
I will look at it. I will look at it. But I must tell you. But I must tell the listeners that they didn't want me to go. Alex Graham didn't want me to go to the Isle conference. But guess what? They prepared my badge. My press pass was prepared. My reporter went and collected it. You understand? So they had prepared my pass, And then Alex Graham must have said, no, don't let him come here. I still have it. They bring it and give it to me. I have it on my desk. I said I want to show you guys. You know how evil they are. And they're calling themselves pastor.
I tell you.
Must be pastor. What we eating?
Glenn, one more thing. With that speech where the president gave the other day, when he talked about if we look back at the contract, we can go to court. And so imagine you go to Exxon and say we want to renegotiate or come in, let's talk about this thing. When this contract signed was 3 billion barrels, now we got 11 billion and counting. But he don't standing in front of these people and saying, well, if we go back to this, we can go to court. You ain't calling these people yet, and you don't say.
Yes, the people of Caribbean court. He actually, that's why I'm telling you, he's the mouthpiece. He actually telling the exam to say, we can go to court.
Yes, that is why I want to watch the clip.
I know the clip. Listen, brother, I know the game.
The whole thing. You know watch the whole clip. But the end, when he finished and he walked down, when the man wink, I want the thing to
My brother, me know the whole game.
Man.
Listen, man. They say Glenn Lall never read a book, Freddie Kissoon. But I could read Freddie Kissoon and all of them, Exxon and the government, like a book. Better than Freddie Kissoon, who would have read all the books in the world.
And remember, you Messiah now, right?
Yes.
You
I thank you.
Messiah.
Thank you.
That's
Amen.
It. And, you know, you be looking forward to bring this message to us and get. If it wasn't for you, Glenn, we would have been. I tell you, we would have been so illiterate today.
I know.
Obviously, because
all right.
we don't know nothing going on.
Thank you, brother. Let's get going.
Good.
Thanks. Bye. You too. Bye. Wait. This gentleman keep calling me. Let me just ask him what he wants quickly. And this would be the last call, all right? All right. I am giving you the opportunity to close. I am giving you the opportunity to make your input and close the program. Let's go.
Yes, good evening, Dr. Lall. It's instructive to know that they are taking a part from Hitler's playbook. Whenever they wanted to discredit someone, they always declared them insane. And I just like to guide these people to know that you have to stand up for truth and justice and righteousness, or you will die as paupers and slaves. Absolutely no doubt. You've got to spread the message that Ben Lall is preaching to you. It's the truth, and the government knows that, and they will attack him, but you've all got to stand with him and fight with him. Okay, Jesus loves you all.
I would
love you, and I'm ready to fight with you.
I would have liked you to end it with what Martin Luther King said. We should stand together. You remember that thing?
Absolutely.
He said we should stand together as brothers and sisters, or fold together like fools.
Amen. Absolutely.
I love you guys. Have a great evening.
The good fight.
All right,
Jesus
thank you.
Is with you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
have
Thank
a good
you.
one.
You too. Okay, Josh. Now, guys, namaste. We're going to play the entire speech for you to listen. Take your time and you decide who's mad. Who's the mad man here? Let's go.